Questions, please? Nice, relaxing.
It must be a big year you're here. You're here a lot of games. I mean, last 2 years I couldn't find you.
Hey, I was there at the beginning, right?
That's right.
For you guys, the defensive effort there, especially to start the second half, Turner hurt you guys early. Can you talk about what adjustments you guys made at halftime and your game plan for holding him to nothing in the second half?
Put Gary Brown on, told Gary don't let him catch it. We just didn't. You know, you come out of pressure and you have to remember your responsibilities, and we were very lax at it in the first half. And Gary didn't end up on it very much, so we kind of tried to gear our rotations to where Gary ended up on them.
Happy with that effort from Gary and what he did, if you could speak to that a little bit.
I thought Gary was really good, yeah. I thought Gary was good early, and I thought he was really good, particularly at the beginning of the second half. And I thought he really played within himself. I mean, he had some shots, he passed up some shots that he probably would have shot before, and he understood time and score. And I thought Gary was outstanding.
Speaking of second half, why has Devin Williams become such a second half force, or so it seems?
Justin, remember Justin had it all figured out. Why is it Justin? I don't know.
That was just the Texas game.
No, it was only one game? Okay. I don't know. You know, he's a little banged up, but I don't know.
Do you go to him more? I mean, do you?
You know, we were supposed to go to him to start the game, and we did go to him beginning of the second half. But Devin's got to be active. You know, when Dev kind of stands around, he's not very good. You know, and when he's active, he's really, really good. He rebounded it better in the second half. I think he had 3 with 8.
Within the press, people talk about the aggressive play and physical stuff. How much does foot speed and quickness come into play with that?
Well, sure helps. Foot speed and quickness sure helps. But, Mitch, we're not as physical as what. I mean, when they're running into us. I mean, that's how you get open. You know, you run into people, you try to post them up, you run in, you try to hold them off. You know, the physicality thing is, in my mind, watching film, totally overblown. You know, I mean, in a lot of instances, the offense initiates the contact, and I'm not saying that's bad. I mean, I think that's what you do to get open. That's what people have done for years to get open. So there is contact, but it's, you know.
How does the foot speed and the quickness of this team compare to any others you've been around or coached against? Any come to mind?
We're playing more. I don't know. I guess we are. We're probably playing a couple more guys than what we played in the past. We played when we were really good at it. We played 10. Now we're playing 12 now, but we're not as athletic as those guys were. I mean, we made plays above the rim that were ridiculous sometimes. We don't have that. But we do have foot speed. We do have foot speed. Wani's got obviously great foot speed, and JC and Dax have good foot speed. Gary kind of wills himself there, I think.
With the press, there's the tangible side to it where you see the points off turnovers, you see forcing turnovers. Could you speak to the mental side of it when you guys are getting into an opponent's head, or do you see the frustration boiling over?
But if you were walking down the street and somebody just got in front of you and kind of was about 3 inches from your face for a couple blocks, would it bother you? That's what it is. You know, it's constant pressure. It's what nobody wants to play against, what nobody wants in their life. I mean, everybody wants their own space. You know, you get really uncomfortable when somebody, you know, those few people that get up and try talking right in your face, you know. You just want to slap them, tell them to go sit down. That's kind of that's how people feel. It's a very uncomfortable thing to play against. You know, it's not that you can't. It's just it does make you uncomfortable.
Why don't more teams do it?
I don't know. I told you I quit doing it because of Danny. I mean, I quit doing it because of Danny Forson, because I didn't need him out there fouling. He was too good. I mean, I think if this has shown anything, I mean, we've had everybody in foul trouble at some point in time or another. Lonnie found out the Boston College game. I think it was found out the Boston College game, and we don't miss a beat. Not that we don't need him in the game, I'm not saying that, but I mean, Devin's been in foul trouble, Everybody's been in foul trouble. And somebody comes in and picks up the pieces and goes. And I don't think everybody is that comfortable with it's basically our entire roster. It's a comfort level, and people are afraid to give up lefts. Which I don't like it, but you know, sometimes that happens. Sometimes it's a good thing. You know, sometimes, and then you're going to play them faster than they can play.
Because of some of that foul, you put Macon in at power forward, had him sort of running that point. What did you think? First time I can remember him doing that. Probably has.
He does in practice.
Uh-huh.
I just started to get his legs back. You know, he wasn't the same guy early on, and I think like the block shot in the second half you saw. I mean, he's bouncing. I mean, he can do some things. His conditioning's not where it needs to be. It's hard for him to be up there. He just be from conditioning. Not that he can't do it, it's just he can't do it very well.
Would you define leadership from players and how a Staten as a senior does it, and even Devin as a sophomore?
Well, leadership is not doing as I say, it's doing as I do. And those are two guys that spend an enormous amount of time in the gym. And so I think then you can get on somebody else about not improving, not working hard, not doing whatever when they see you. And that's the culture that we had here. It's a culture that I had at Cincinnati, and then we lost it. You know, we had some guys that just, without naming names, would rather go play in the band than they would play basketball. You know, and when they're your leaders, and you know, and they can't wait to sprint out of here to go pick up a guitar. And I love him to death. I mean, he's one of my favorite people of all time. But it creates the wrong culture. The young guys see that, and not just him. I mean, it was a multitude of guys that basketball wasn't important enough in their life. And you know, I've had guys where that was their self-being. You know, when they didn't play well, they were miserable, just miserable. You know, but they did something about it. You know, and that's so when these guys come in and they see Gary puts a ton of time in, Lonnie puts a ton of time in, Devin puts a ton of time in, and those really are three returning guys. It becomes a culture, and then you know, what you always do. You always try to recruit guys that like basketball. But Javon and Dax love being in the gym. I mean, those guys in the gym all the time.
You usually recruit guys though that are offensive players, you know, in high school and the likes. Yet you have to sell them some way on playing defense like this, like maybe even to the fault of taking away from their offense even. How do you do that? And obviously those leaders have to be the first in line to play the defense.
It's a whole lot different, Bob. You know, you're not very smart as a high school coach if you make your best player guard their best guy and then some foul trouble all the time. There's not a lot of difference in our guys. They bring different things to the table. Some of them shoot it better than others. Some of them guard a little bit better than others. Some of them jump better, run better, quicker. You know, some of them play passing lanes better. But they all bring something. And you know, I think what our struggle is as a staff is to try to put them in places where they can be successful. That's what we're supposed to do. But it's a whole lot different when they care, and it's a whole lot different when you have people like Wani, like Gary, like Dev that, you know, they're not saying, you know, go do this. They're saying do as I do, and that makes a big difference.
When you get into a game, there's different stretches of games where, you know, it could be a 4-point, 5-point swing either way. Do you start looking at your defense at that point, or that's when you got to start making shots?
Well, it depends on what was going on defensively and what had been going on offensively. I mean, Justin, we turned over 20 times against Kansas State, and you were there. You saw we stole the ball and threw it right back to them.
Right.
You know, and my thing is, why do we work this hard? We work hard. Why do we work hard just to turn around and throw it to them when they didn't do anything to really deserve it? And we just threw it away. We did it a couple times today. You know, we made two that kind of stand out. That, I mean, guys really should have had layups, and they were taking plays off. That's the battle. The battle is don't take plays off. You know, I don't think Deshaun would mind me saying this. If you remember the Oklahoma game, they took some plays off. They hit a couple threes, got back in the game, Deshaun that we lost, but we did end up losing in overtime. I mean, we had all kind of opportunities. We instead of holding the ball, getting fouled, we tried to throw it away, got intercepted. They hit a three to tie, and all kinds of crazy stuff happened. But what I used to talk to Deshaun and Wellington in particular about was, don't take plays off, man. You take plays off, people at this level are going to beat you. And particularly the way we play, because we get so spread defensively because we want pressure.
So, like, when you look at the game today and you see that your team shot 48%, is that just kind of like a little bonus then?
Well, when our post guys finally decide they're going to get their heads up and score the ball, then we'll shoot a pretty good percentage. But the teams that shoot a high percentage on a regular basis throw it close. You know, we shot I think 52% or 53% one year as a team, but that was because I had Danny and Art, you know, and we threw it in there a bunch. And those other guys were shooting step-in shots because of all the help that they had to give. So, you know, when we get to the point, and you know, and I said this on the postgame show, you know, I lean on Devin pretty hard, you know, and he's a sophomore. He's halfway through a sophomore year. You know, I mean, he's going to get just better and better and better. Elijah's a freshman. You know, Brandon's a sophomore who hadn't played a whole bunch. You know, Nate. You know, we're not. It's not like we're junior and senior laden inside. So they do some dumb things, and they don't finish plays, but they will finish, you know, a little bit later on. And then a little bit later on, we'll shoot a very high percentage because we're going to throw it close to them.
Kind of in the same vein, you were talking about taking plays off and making shots. You actually made some shots today in spots. And Juwan said something in it. He said, maybe when we're making shots, we don't play as well defensively, we kind of relax. Is it sometimes better for this team if you're not making shots, that you feel more desperate and have to play defense hard?
Well, I think it probably depends on the point in the game. Probably late, maybe that's right, but I don't think. Most people, when you know they're a little bouncier after a score than they are after. What kills you is guys go to the line and miss 2 free throws, or a guy misses a layup. We missed a layup today, and they come down and they score, and they score again, and it just destroys your momentum. Gotta make layups.
You also made barely half your free throws today and got out and rebounded bad. Does that say more about the tech, or does it say more about how far you guys have gone?
Well, we got out rebounded, but I think they were 16 for 38. We were 26 for 54. You know, I mean there was. It's harder for us to get to out defensive rebound people because we take so many more shots than everybody else does. You know what I mean? They're just more available. there's way more available for them than what is for us. That's a little skewed. I don't tell them that, but,
Still only got 8 offensive.
but we've made more shots too. We've made more shots.
Well, you're talking about the youth on this team still. Do you think that they're at a good place heading in these final 10 games? Because you got a grind coming up. Last 10.
Justin, what do you think? Justin is, he's got his thumb right on the pulse of what goes on. Mitch, so maybe Justin's, if they stop writing about football in February, there'd be more room in the DP for Justin to wax eloquently about, what's going on. I don't know, man. How do I know? I don't know what's inside their heads. They tell Justin things they don't tell me. I don't know what it is. That's why I get up every morning and run out and pick up the paper so I know what the hell's going on for practice,
Imagine if you were paid.
That's right. Exactly right.
Anything else?
It's just hard, it's hard. I mean, we're dealing with 18, 19-year-old kids, man, it's hard. It's hard to know what they're thinking. Thanks.